Hi all, in this video I am going to discuss about complex integration, and these are the topics covered. In part 1 we are going to discuss these three topics, and in part 2 we are going to discuss these two topics. In part 3 we are going to discuss this topic, and in part 4 we are going to discuss Taylor series and Maclaurin series. Now let us discuss the first definition of complex line integral. Complex definite integrals are called as complex line integrals, and it is written as integral of c f of z dz. Here we say f of z is integrated over the given curve c, and this curve c is called the path of integration, and the curve is said to be a smooth curve if this curve is continuous and has non-zero derivative at each point. And we say C is closed path if the endpoints are same. If you have a closed path, then we can write integral of C f of z dz as integral of C f of z dz, where this circle denotes C as a closed path. Now let us discuss the first topic, first evaluation method. Here we are going to integrate the function directly and then substitute the limit. This is possible only when you have an analytic function. Say your function f of z is analytic, then whenever you are integrating such function, you have to integrate that directly and then substitute the limits. So you have upper limit minus lower limit. Now let us discuss the first question. Evaluate integral of 0 to 1 plus I z square dz. Here our function z square is said to be analytic. Now how can you claim that it is analytic? Because z square can be written as x square minus y square, where u is x square minus y square and v is 2xy. Just like in module 3, you know how to find out the first order derivatives. After finding ux, uy, vx, vy, check for the relation ux equal to vy and uy equal to minus vx. If the CR equations are satisfied, then we can conclude that our function z square is analytic. So when you have an analytic function, we can apply the first evaluation method directly, which involves direct integration. So you have to integrate z square, which is z cube by 3, and then apply the limit. So you get 1 plus I whole cube divided by 3. Now let us proceed with our next question. Evaluate integral of cos z from minus pi I to plus pi I dz. And this particular function f of z, cos z, can be written as cos of x plus iy, making use of the expansion cos a cos b minus sin a sin b, and then making use of these identities, that is cos I theta can be written as cos h theta, sin I theta can be written as I sin h theta. Making use of these identities, we have converted it in this manner, and then after finding out u and v, also finding out the partial derivatives, we can observe that it satisfies the CR equations. Hence we can conclude that the function cos z is analytic. So we can apply first evaluation method, which involves direct integration. So the integration of cos z is sin z. After integrating, we have to simply substitute the limits. After substituting the limit, upper limit minus lower limit, we get this answer. Either you can leave it in this manner, or you can make use of this identity. Sin I theta is I sin h theta. So sin I pi is I sin h pi, and then we can conclude the answer here. Now let us solve our next question. Evaluate integral of e raised to z by 2 within these limits. Now e raised to z by 2 is an analytic function. We can proceed in a similar way by obtaining u and v and then checking whether the CR equations are satisfied, but which seems to be very difficult. Therefore, we can conclude using another analogy for checking whether it is analytic or not. You know that e raised to z by 2 has derivative for all the points in a domain D, and hence it is said to be differentiable, and hence we can conclude that it is analytic for all points in that domain. Therefore, by first evaluation method we can integrate this particular function directly. So, e raised to z by 2 integration is e raised to z by 2 by 1 by 2, and then apply the limits. Okay. After applying the limits and then evaluating further, you get the answer as 2i e raised to 4. Now, let us proceed with our next topic, second evaluation method. This method has no such rule that it has to be an analytic function. This is also valid for non-analytic function. Even if it is analytic or non-analytic, we can apply this method, second evaluation method. And here we are going to make use of representation of path. That is, we are going to convert the path of integration as a different representation, and then substituting in the place of f of z as f of z of t into z dash of t dt, where the limits of integration are with respect to t because the variable is t, and then we can solve that integration by applying the limits and then solve that further. Let us proceed with our first question. Evaluate integral of dz by z where c is a circle at center, origin and radius as r. Now, we know the equation of circle with center at origin and radius r is represented as mod z equal to r. Let us take the parametric polar representation of this equation. Let us take z equal to r e raised to I theta, where theta varies from 0 to 2 pi. If you are taking this polar representation, it will give you a circle. So, here angle varies from 0 to 2 pi, and thus we get a equation of circle. Now, as usual, let us find, we know z, let us find dz. dz is differentiating z with respect to theta. So, here theta is the variable of integration. So, let us differentiate z with respect to theta. Since r is constant, differentiation of e raised to I theta is I into e raised to I theta into d theta. And then let us substitute in our question. So, integral of c dz divided by z now becomes integral of c dz is nothing but r I e raised to I theta d theta divided by z is nothing but r e raised to I theta. After cancelling the terms, you will be left out with I d theta, and the limit is from theta equal to 0 to 2 pi. Now, since I is constant, you have to integrate constant, which is theta. Apply the limits 0 to 2 pi. So, your answer is 2 pi I. Now, this is the case. Here the circle is being represented as a polar coordinates, and then we have solved the integration and then found out the answer. Now, let us discuss the next question. Evaluate integral of dz divided by z minus a, where c, this particular c, is a circle with center at a and radius r. Here also we are going to make use of representation of path, that is, the circle equation is mod of z minus a equal to r, where a is the center and r is the radius. Let us make use of this parametric representation. Take z minus a as r e raised to I theta, where theta varies from 0 to 2 pi. Now, let us proceed as usual. Differentiate and find dz. So, dz minus, since a is constant, you get 0, r is constant, differentiation of e raised to I theta is I into e raised to I theta d theta, because theta is the variable. So, we have got dz as r I e raised to I theta d theta. Therefore, our equation now becomes integral of c dz by z minus a is 0 to 2 pi, your dz is r I e raised to I theta d theta divided by z minus a is r e raised to I theta. After cancelling the terms, you will be left out with I d theta, and then integrating that further you get theta. Apply the limit 0 to 2 pi, so your answer is 2 pi I. Now what we have done here is we have converted everything in terms of theta. Even the limits is converted in terms of theta, and then we have integrated that further to get our answer as 2 pi I. Let us proceed with our next question. Evaluate integral of z square dz where C is a line segment from 0 to 2 plus I. So we have a line segment here, line segment from 0 to 2 plus I. Let us name the points as 0. Since it is 2 plus I, here x coordinate is 2 and y coordinate is 1. So 2 plus I represents the point 2 comma 1. So this is our point 2 comma 1, and our circle is, the curve is 0 0 to 2 comma 1, a line joining these 2 points. Now as usual, let us represent z in terms of x and y. You know z is nothing but x plus iy. Now find z square, because this is in our question, which is x square minus y square plus 2xy, and dz is dx plus I dy. After finding z square and dz, let us find the equation of this particular line. We can make use of this formula. The line joining the points 0 0 and 2 1 can be found out by using this 2-point form. Okay, so after substituting the values of x1 y1, this is our x1 y1 and this is our x2 y2. After substituting these points in this particular formula, we get x as 2y, and differentiate this further. So dx equal to 2 times dy. Okay, now what we can do is we can replace x by 2y. Wherever we have x, replace it by 2y, and wherever we have dx, replace it by 2 dy. That means we are converting our question everything in terms of y. So this is our question. We are going to integrate z square dz, and z square we have found out, which is nothing but x square minus y square plus 2ixy, and dz we have found out, which is dx plus I dy. So here in the place of x we are going to substitute 2y, in the place of dx substitute 2 dy. After substituting, everything is now converted in terms of y. Simplify that further. Now you may observe our integration is now left out with only one variable. So here y is the variable, but our C is nothing but it is a line joining the 2 points 0 0 and 2 1. Since C is the path of integration and y is the variable, so we need the limits of integration for y. If you observe closely, our y changes from 0 to 1. Therefore, the limits of y is equal to 0 to 1. Now, after substituting the limits and simplifying further, you get the answer as 2 plus 11i by 3. Now, let us proceed with our next question. Evaluate integral of z square dz. The same question, but here the curve is made up of 2 line segments. One segment from 0 to 2 and another segment from 2 to 2 plus I. Now let us draw the graph of this. One segment is from 0 to 2. So I am going to draw a segment from 0 to 2. Now this is a segment from 0 0 to 2 0. Okay, since it is from 0 to 2, I am giving the direction in this way, and this is our first segment. I am going to call it as C1. Now let us denote another segment from 2 to 2 plus I. From 2 to 2 plus I. Since it is from 2 to 2 plus I, let us denote the arrow in this direction, and we can name it as C2. These two curves together become our curve C. So C is nothing but it is a segment joining these two segments. So C1 and C2 together will form the curve C. Now let us break this integration z square dz as a sum of these two integrations. Let us name the first integration as I1 and second integration as I2. Let us solve these one by one. Now along this curve C1, what happens? We have to find out the equation of this curve C1, isn't it? It is a line joining the points 0 0 and 2 0. Like earlier, we don't have to use the formula y minus y1 by y2 minus y1 equal to x minus x1 by x2 minus x1. We don't have to use this formula because we know it is a segment in a x-axis. In x-axis, you know the equation of x-axis is y is 0. Okay, so we can make use of the equation as y is equal to 0. So differentiate this further. So dy is equal to 0, and since the limits are from because here the values of x is from, you can see the limits of x changes from 0 to 2. So we can make use of the limits of x as 0 to 2. So this is the limit of integration for x. Now let us find out I1. I1 is nothing but integrating along the curve C1 the function z square. I have replaced z square and I have replaced dz also, and then I have put the limits of integration from 0 to 2. You know that y is 0, so I have put y as 0, and therefore dy is also 0, and then after integrating that further, you will be left out with 8 by 3. So this is our answer for I1. Now let us find out the integration I2. Along the curve C2, you know it is a line joining 2 0 and 2 1. Okay, here we have to find out the equation of this particular C2, the line joining 2 0 and 2 1. No need of using the equation, I told you earlier, no need of using this equation, y minus y1 divided by y2 minus y1 equal to x minus x1 divided by x2 minus x1, because you may notice here considering these 2 points, here the value for x is constant. That means we have a line parallel to y axis. Therefore the equation is x equal to 2. So it is a line parallel to y axis. Since x is constant here, x equal to 2 will be the equation of such a line. Now differentiate this further. So when you differentiate this further, we get dx equal to 0, and since the limits of y is from 0 to 1, so we can take the limits of y as 0 to 1. So we have got all these values. Now let us find out I2, integration of C2 z square dz, substitute z square, substitute dz, and since x is 2, substituting x as 2 we get 4, and substituting dx as 0, putting the values for y is from 0 to 1, and then integrating further, we get the answer as 11I by 3 minus 2. Finally we can add these two, because our curve C comprises of both C1 and C2, so adding these two, you get the answer as 2 plus 11I by 3. Now let us make a conclusion here. we have just discussed two problems. One problem was a line segment from 0, 0 to 2, 1. This was our problem 2. Our problem 2 was a line segment joining 2 points from z equal to 0 to z equal to 2 plus I. Our problem 3 was a line segment joining two segments 0 to 2 and from 2 to 2 plus I. This is our problem 3 and this was our problem 2. Okay. In problem 2 I have used a green color line segment. In problem 3 I have used a pink color line segment and a blue colored line segment. Now what we have observed is in both the problems we got the same answer, that is the answer was 2 plus 11I by 3. In both the problems we get the same answer. Now what is the conclusion of this? The conclusion is the complex line integral is independent of path. No matter which path you choose, it depends only on the end points. So here if I am taking the green colored line segment, the end points is 0 to 2 plus I. If I am taking the problem 3, 0 to 2 and then from 2 to 2 plus I, here also the end points are same, that is from 0, 0 to 2 plus I. The end points are same in both the problem, therefore we got the same answer. Now let us discuss the next question. Integrate the function f of z equal to x square plus I into xy from these 2 points where parametric equations of x and y are given. Since parametric equations are given, let us write x as t, differentiate that, so dx equal to dt. Write y equal to t square, differentiate that, so we get dy is equal to 2t dt. Now in the place of x square, let us substitute t square plus I into, x is t and y is t square. So t into t square is t cube. So we have written f of z in terms of t. Now we know dz is nothing but dx plus I dy. Therefore you can substitute dx and dy here, dt plus I into 2t dt. Since dt is common, I have taken that common factor and then I have written 1 plus 2y dt. Therefore dz is 1 plus 2yt into dt and f of z is t square plus t cube. Now let us substitute these f of z as well as dz in our question. So integral of c t square plus I into t cube dz is nothing but 1 plus 2yt dt, and then opening the brackets and simplifying further, you get this expression. And now we have to simply integrate because we have converted everything in terms of the variable t. Now we have to find out the limits for t. Since a is the point 1, 1 and b is the point 2, 4, therefore the values of x varies from 1 to 2. So x varies from 1 to 2 and you know the equation of x, which is t. Therefore x and t both are same, therefore the limits of x is same as the limits of t, and the limits of integration of t is from 1 to 2, they both are same. The limits of x and the limits of t both are same, so we can substitute the limits and then integrate further, you get this answer. So this is our answer for this problem. So we have converted everything in terms of t and then evaluated if you are having parametric equations for x and y. Now let us solve our last question in this part. Evaluate integral of c real part of z square dz in clockwise direction. Here direction is mentioned. If you are not mentioning direction, we can use a anti-clockwise direction around the boundary of a square with vertices 0, I, 1 plus I and 1. So here I have marked z equal to 0, z equal to 1, z equal to 1 plus I, which is nothing but the point 1 comma 1, and z equal to I, which is nothing but the point 0 comma 1. After marking all the points, now we have to put directions. You know that we are taking clockwise direction, so our directions must be clockwise. So I am taking clockwise direction. You can start from anywhere. I have started from here. I have named this as C1, C2, C3 and C4. Let us evaluate all the 4 segments one by one and then solve and then add all those together. So here let us rename our given question as I. So this is our given question. We have to evaluate integral of real part of z square dz over the curve C, where C comprises of all the 4 line segments. Now you know dz is nothing but dx plus I dy, and solve z square separately, which is x square minus y square plus 2yxy. But we need real part of z square, that is the terms without I. So we have x square minus y square. So I am going to convert our question real part of z square. In the place of real part of z square I am putting x square minus y square. In the place of dz I am putting dx plus I dy. Okay, and you know our curve C comprises of 4 line segments, C1, C2, C3, C4. So I have splitted those accordingly, and then calling each integration as separate I1, I2, I3, I4, add all those and then substitute. So here I am going to solve one by one. Along the curve C1. Now what is our C1? This is the line segment C1, and you know this is nothing but it is a line segment in x axis, and therefore the equation is y is equal to 0, because the equation of x axis is y equal to 0. Differentiate that, you get dy equal to 0. Since the limits of x is from in clockwise direction, so here x varies from 1 to 0. So I have taken the limits of x as from 1 to 0, and our question is real part of z square into dz. Here we have taken y as 0 and we have put dy as 0, put the limits as from 1 to 0, and then after solving that further you get the answer as minus 1 by 3. Therefore we have arrived with the answer as I1 as minus 1 by 3. Now let us proceed with our next segment, C2. Now C2 is the segment we are discussing now. C2 is nothing but a segment in y axis. So along C2, you know for y axis x equal to 0 is the equation. Differentiate that further. You can observe the limits of y is from 0 to 1. Since the direction is upwards, so we have to take y is from 0 to 1. So this is our limit. After substituting the limits, you get minus I by 3. So we get the answer as I2 is equal to minus I by 3. Similarly, let us consider our next line segment, C3. Since the direction is clockwise, I have put clockwise direction arrow. The equation is nothing but it is a line parallel to the x axis. If you carefully observe, here what is constant? Y is constant, isn't it? Here y is equal to 1 and here also y is equal to 1. Therefore we have taken the equation as y is equal to 1. Differentiate that further, so we get dy is equal to 0, and the limits of x, choose the limits according to the direction of this arrow. So here limits of x is from 0 to 1. So we have taken the limits of x and then substituted, we get the answer as minus 2 by 3. So I3 is minus 2 by 3. Let us discuss our last line segment along C4. So this is our line segment along C4. Since it is a line parallel to y axis, you note for the 2 points, here x is 1 and y is 1, here x is 1 and y is 0. Here x is constant, therefore let us take the equation of x as x equal to 1. Differentiate that further, you get dx equal to 0. And the limits of y is from 1 to 0 because the direction is in clockwise. So take the limits of y as 1 to 0. Now after substituting, you get the answer as minus 2i by 3. Finally, we have got I4. Now substituting all these in our equation 1, that is adding all the values of integrations I1, I2, I3, I4, you get the answer as minus 1 minus I. I hope you have understood. We will continue with the remaining topics in my next videos. Thank you.